people say Latina, a lot of the times, like, people think, oh, like dancer or cooks or religious, you know, like all these like stereotypical ideas of what a Latina is. I think being a Latina is just being yourself. I think that's the only way I can really define it, you know, being yourself. My family always focused on education a lot. You know, growing up, they always told me that education, you know, was the key to everything, and you know, not even just success, you know, your own personal growth. And so that was always like the first thing for my parents, and they always supported me in school and make sure that I, you know, did whatever I could to get where I needed to. And you know, they would always have value education, especially because my parents didn't finish high school, so I think they always thought that was a good idea too.
We don't all look the same. Like, I always try to clarify it with everyone I meet. Like, I am Hispanic. Like, I'm Latina. Latinos can be black. Like, it's a thing. I can have this hair. It was it's still a little bit hard. Like, in the US, my friends are like, oh, you're not American because you're Hispanic. And then I go to the DR and they're like, oh, you're American. And then I go to Mexico and it's like, you don't look Mexican. So it's kind of like this weird limbo that I have going on that I'm not really sure where I fit in. But I love all three of my cultures. And I mean, I do primarily feel like I'm mainly Mexican because that's like my whole family around me. That's how I grew up. That's the Spanish I know. I go to Mexico every summer. But it's still difficult to kind of navigate the three cultures.
I like to use that term, the third culture kid, that you grow up in a culture that's not what your parents grew up in. It's that you grew up with a mix. Something that I admire from my dad a lot is that he started working in Venezuela and he has moved up. He has worked so hard to get where he is right now and provided such a big has provided just so much for his family, and so I really admire that, and I always try to replicate that in my work ethic.
You know, I'd say my parents never put pressure on me, but taught me how to motivate myself early, in that if I would become successful, you know, at least under the context of the American dream, it would just be to differentiate myself and almost protect myself from society so that, you know, I could achieve and provide for myself without fear of discrimination or socio-cultural exclusion or anything like that. What it means to be Latino in the context of the United States, especially the Northeast, Boston, to me means just accepting the disparity between your multiple identities and realizing that you may not particularly belong 100% here nor there. You know, I'm not 100% white, nor am I 100% Venezuelan or Polish, but it's learning to adapt to those old traditions, bring them to be a part of your life, and utilize them in a way that gives you your own sense of identity.
The thing with being Latino in the US is that it carries so much baggage. People have all these expectations about you. Most of them are not exactly positive. When people hear Latino, they hear minority, and they think of all the things that are associated with that. What it is to be a Latino in the US is to be constantly confronted by other people's perceptions of you. And in a way, to be Latino is to try and surpass those expectations. In a way, it's a duty, a communal struggle to not let what other people conceive of being Latino be what defines you. I think that's what being Latino is.